So your website, people have mentioned this already a few times, but your website mentions that the Edmonton International Airport sits on 7,000 acres of land, the largest land base in Canada. In the corporate draft master plan, and this is for the airport gentlemen, you show the new third runway will take a significant part of that runway will not actually be on your property. You don't actually tell us how many acres is that that extra section you're going to take for the runway. Is that 1,000 acres? That's our best estimate we have. Do you have any idea?
Well, it's hard to give you an accurate estimate because there's
Plus or minus 20%.
other infrastructure requirements, but I'd say as a guess, 1,000 would be good.
Okay.
Land base update, 10,000.
So for comparison, Toronto Pearson, it's already been mentioned, the busiest airport in Canada, has 4,400 acres, and they've managed to place 5 runways on that property. Now when I build a house for the county, and there's county people here so they can tell me because I just did, or a barn, or any other large structure, one of the key things you have to do is build it on your property. I'm not sure if anybody else is able to, but I think that's kind of the case. Why does this limitation not apply to your corporation? And why can Pearson make so much more efficient use of their land base than your corporation? Well, you know what? We invited them. We invited the Minister of Transportation. We only gave them a week's notice because, you know, we only had a week's notice.
That's right.
Or two. So we invited the head of, actually it was the actual head of the board, as well as the head of Alberta Transportation. But we have the engineer here. I guess he's speaking on behalf of the ministry. You're the guy, so please, if you can, answer that question.
As I mentioned before, based on our analysis of the runway capacity, that alignment was fit based on providing us the maximum capacity of the 3-runway system and having the least impacts on existing infrastructure. I understand that this community is the most impact. I don't pretend that the airport isn't a bad neighbor.
Well, we've all lived with you guys for 50 years. The big issue we have, if we can see this, is that this is the historic heart of this community. This runway runs over one church, probably will fence in their cemetery. The highway that's being driven by your draft master plan goes through another church, and there's 2 other churches within 3 miles.
Plus the one that uses this building is another church.
That's another church that uses this building. Yeah.
So there's 4 churches. If a person spun around and picked the absolute worst alignment of the runway, this would be it.
How did you manage that?
That's why we hire our engineers.
You know, and the bottom line is every dollar, whether it's Mike's salary or Todd's salary or even the gentleman behind the screen there, it's coming out of our pocket. So every time they look at it, whether they put the runway here, whether they put the runway there, whether they put the road up there or down here, it's all our pockets. And yet we forget that we're the government, we elect the people, and we just keep saying, well, it's for the good of the community. This is not for the good of the community, and that's why we're stressed.
It sounds like people want to continue asking questions, so you can refer to the slides that you like to answer the questions. I'm sure you're going to be providing these slides to people that have put their contact information. Is that accurate?
The plan here is that today we had a presentation as well as an open house for one of 2 open houses. This is, again, preliminary engineering for this portion of the alignment. We are here to gather input. We've looked at some environmental work, or some environmental constraints in the area. We've looked at some of the geometry, as well as the location of the airport's runway. This is, I will call it, part of the information gathering portion. We're going to take these comments. We're going to do an assessment. This is obviously going to be vetted through all the ranks of the department. And we will come back.